So in this video, I thought I would show you what to do after you build your PC. You could run into a various amount of problems, and I kind of just wanted to show you a couple of them that I've had. So one being off the kick, I do not have any Wi-Fi, and that's going to be our first tackle, and then we're going to go into some other things of what to download, update BIOS, and so on and so forth. So if you want to learn about that, stay right there. All right, one of the first things we're going to tackle here is the actual Wi-Fi. And you can see that you can't see a part of the screen and some of the icons there. That's because it only has the basic driver for VGA loaded for the motherboard. We have no graphics card here, by the way. So we're just running with onboard graphics from the 14900K. And what we're going to do here, if I can pick this thumb drive up properly, is I have the driver. I went ahead to Gigabyte's website and downloaded the actual driver for this. So we're going to stick that right in the back there. Now, I do not have audio for this hooked up, so just bear with that. So let's look right here. Again, I apologize if it's a little whited out. Let's see. Oh, right here, yeah. So this driver should be a Qualcomm driver. And what we're looking for is this little window down here. Hopefully we can get this to get our Wi-Fi. All right, so it looks like it took. So I didn't open this before, but our network under here, these are all the devices that's missing. And at the very top, we had one that said network controller. So that appears to be in now. I don't know if we have to, maybe we'll have to reboot because I'm not seeing, all I'm seeing is this. I'm not seeing any of the Wi-Fi. So, because this is just Bluetooth. So let's do a reboot and see what happens. Okay, so you just saw that the reboot worked, and now we have our Wi-Fi available here. And I'm going to either blur this out or just cut this out completely. But what you're going to want to do is there's an arrow right next to it. Just go ahead and click that. And as soon as you click it, it's going to occupy a bunch of nearby routers, okay, that you can hook up to. So I'll just be a minute. Okay, so I am back and we are connected to the Wi-Fi now, which is excellent. So I had to go to their website, right? So I had to go to Gigabyte's website and actually make sure you have the Master X or the motherboard. I shouldn't say the Master X, but make sure you have your motherboard specifically and the revision of the motherboard. So on the motherboard, it may say revision 1, 1.1, or 2, something like that, 1.5 even. Make sure you have the correct revision and then go and grab your Wi-Fi from another computer, obviously, because that's the only way I could do it. Other than you may be able to, it was missing the network controller, so you might not even be able to hook up directly to the motherboard with an Ethernet cable. So in that case, you have to go to the actual website using another computer and download that. So now that we got our Wi-Fi, our very next step is basically to do, or what I do, this is in the order that I do it, is we are going to start doing our Windows updates. So if we come right down here, then we come to settings. So click on our Windows key and then come to settings. And I know it was last checked 31 minutes ago, but it checked because that's what it's designed to do. So we just have to click on that. And updates available to install. So yeah, we are going to get these all installed right now. We have Windows malicious software removal. We have cumulative update for the net framework. We have display driver. So when the display driver goes in, you're probably going to see the screen go black for a second or two. And that's just because it's implementing it. So it's taking away it's implementing it. So it's not taking away the basic driver that's installed, but it's, see, like you just saw. So now we can see our icons on the bottom fully. And we are just going to go through these as many times and as loops as it takes. So you'll see pending restart, retry. So at this time, we can actually restart our computer, because if you had another one that was still downloading, you could either restart or you could hold off until that one's actually complete. But since one's already completed, one's pending a restart, and the other ones say retry, then we have to go ahead and just hit the restart now. All right, so that concluded our first reboot with the first Windows update. But again, like I said, we are going to repeat this as many times as it takes. So I'm just kind of letting it sit here for a minute. We do want to install this control center. I'm going to install that from Gigabyte. Not just yet though. So we're going to do our start menu again, come up to settings and Windows update again. Hopefully you can see that pretty good. Retry all. All right, so you can see this one's pending an install, complete and installing. It's at 0%, but it will soon start. But I'm not going to sit here through it all with you. Well, there it goes right there. It was that quick. So now we got another cumulative download and install. We're going to go ahead and do this one and get the latest updates as soon as they're available. Yeah, I usually like to get them as soon as they're available, so we'll turn that on. We can also go to our device manager, and we can see that some of these are still pending for PCI device. So we're going to install this, and this may take care of it. If not, I'm going to have to go back to the manufacturer's site and find some downloads for that, which would probably be like the chipset driver or something like that. Okay, so once again, this will be our second restart, and everything's complete except for this one. It's just pending a restart. This is an estimated 4 minutes. So again, it may take that amount of time to restart, but I don't know how accurate that really is. Yeah, so this probably will take a definite 4, 5, 6 minutes, because it's already been about 30 seconds and we're only at 9%. So yeah, it took about 4 minutes. So it was pretty close. I didn't officially time it, but it was 4 or 5 minutes. So once again, we are going to go through that, and I'll keep repeating myself: settings and Windows updates, and then we're going to check for updates. Now, if there's nothing here, we're going to scroll down to, I think it's advanced options, and sometimes they have other updates in there. Okay, so that's it. And we didn't have to go through a whole lot, is because I installed Windows 11 20, the latest Windows 11. I'm trying to think, 22 H2 or something like that, or H3 or 23H2. 23H2. Something like one of those. All right, so we go down to advanced options, and was it not in advanced options? I thought it was. Okay, so let's go back to here. That's update history. It is. There's optional updates in here, but I don't... Oh, right down here. Okay, it says 0 available, and it said 0 available, and I didn't even have to click in it. So if we come back to this window, you can actually scroll down, and when you see the available options, it says 0 available. So that's just an FYI. Now, we can close this window for right now. We can, whoops, we do a right click, we come up to Device Manager. We're just gonna check this. Yep, okay, so it's still the same. That's perfectly fine. Now we're gonna do the Gigabyte Controller Center. Now this is like the utility package from Gigabyte. And they do have a separate download or a manual download from their website. You can actually install this. And we're just gonna go next, because I'm hoping this is gonna give us what we need, so I don't have to go through and manually do all of them. That's successful. Looks like it, I don't know if you can see that, but it put an icon over here. I'll just drag it in the center here. Gigabyte Control Center. So we're gonna say yes. We're gonna launch this, accept. Let's see if we can figure this out. So right down here, it looks like Update Center, because I can see a little red orange dot there. That probably indicates that there's something out of date. I said to skip it. All right, so we got, trying to see what needs updated. Does it tell you? So it tells you newer version. So maybe none of those are installed. I'm trying to see, does any of them, we have storage, Intel. Let's just install them all. So your system needs to reboot during the update process. Do you want to continue? Yeah, let's continue. Your system needs to reboot during the update process. Do you want to continue? Yes. All right, so we have a little status bar up here. It's updating. Oh, see, the Norton security. I didn't want that. I'll have to uninstall that. So actually, right there, I'm going to hit cancel. Yep. See, I should have read them all. But in any event, I can uninstall it if it did install, because it did say install okay. So I may have not gotten to it soon enough. So I'm just going to let this thing go, and I will be right back. So one of them appeared to be the BIOS update. So we're on current version F3, and it's doing the BIOS update on its own. So that's pretty interesting. I do not really like that it did that. I should have read over what it was updating specifically, because I didn't realize anything said BIOS update on it. So we're going from F3 to F4, which is exactly what I had downloaded on here. Now there is a BIOS beta version out, but it shouldn't do that. And I think it was F4B or BF4 or something like that. The B just stands for beta. So anyway, it'll be a different time when I show you again on a Gigabyte BIOS update, but this did it on its own. Leave it alone. Just leave it alone, walk away, go to the bathroom, go talk to somebody, grab a drink, just not out of the toilet, and let this thing complete on its own. Don't touch it, don't touch the mouse, don't touch anything. So it's going to reboot on its own. And then after that, we should be seeing that it went from F3 to F4. So we have the Norton security is actually still here, so that's good. I do not want that. So we can do, we got smart backup, and we got the Intel XTU. Well, I'm gonna need that eventually, so let's keep, oh, okay, those are check marks. See, I didn't know that. So we have, I think something to do with fan speed. So we're gonna uncheck the Norton smart backup. I'm not gonna have that for right now. So let's just install those two last ones. You know what? I'm not gonna install that one, because I'll probably set my own fan curves within the L3 Connect software from Leon Lee. All right, so one way we can check as far as the BIOS goes is we can actually, we want to do run, and then in this window right here, I hope you can see it. Ugh. So right in this box, we're going to type in MS Info 32. Hit enter. And right here, we are now, you can see F4. So that is our latest BIOS. All right, well, I did want to show that right here, remember there used to be stuff that was not updated. Now it is. So we are all set with that Gigabyte control center stuff that fixed the issue. Okay, so now a couple of other things. I just put on here from one of my drives that I keep all these on is 3 different things. And these don't have to be done in any specific order, but I am going to go with Uncle Carey's Windows 10 optimizer. Yes, this is Windows 11 and it will work. So you can grab this from his channel if you want. I will put a link to his channel in the description down below. And this is basically just going to take care of a few things. I'll show you right here. If we double click on the executable file, and you can see all the options here that it will do. It'll disable startup app delay, add this PC icon to the desktop, force icon view in control panel, show file extensions, because before and right here you did not see the .exe, so it will enable that. Remove people from the taskbar, so it was down here, I think. There's a little icon that, well, it's apparently not there on Windows 11, but anyway. Disable add and app suggestions, reduce drag and drop sensitivity, enable storage sense every 30 days, disable install of suggested apps, launch folders in separate process, remove content indexing from C, that's drive C. And then it has a power plan, but this is basically the power plan, I think is more for, well, it's more for laptops, but it disables hibernation, disables standby and sleep mode, disable this timeout, and set power to balance. And you do have the option to change that there, and you have the option to change anything here. So this is error handling, disable auto reboot on BSOD. This is enable mini dumps on BSOD. Okay. And optimize, right click to undo. Okay, so what we're basically going to do is just apply to all of these. It's going to run a script. This should be pretty quick, and it should be done because this has got nothing on it. Yeah. If you had your whole disk full or your hard drive full, solid state drive, it could take quite a few minutes or tens of minutes to do, depending on how full it is and how large it is. All right, so that is done. We can actually see now it says .exe. Just letting you know that. And so we do have to restart this because otherwise some of the stuff is not going to take place. All right, so now that we're back, I'm going to go ahead just for simplicity and lessen the confusion. I'm going to delete that folder entirely off the system. And next we're going to install the Samsung Magician software. And this may not be the latest, it may be the previous version, but that's okay. It will allow me to update it. Yeah, this is 9/1/2022, so a year ago. It's okay though. There's no harm in this. So the Magician software, this is specifically for Samsung, right? And this will improve your drives. We're going to create a quick launch icon and create a desktop icon. All right, so we can actually launch it right now. Check it out quick. All right, so we got our Samsung SSD 990 Pro 2 terabyte. It's right now, it has 46 gigabytes written to it. Still pretty new. And there's a bunch of details that you can go over provisioning and performance optimization, diagnostic scans, and performance benchmarks, and all kinds of stuff. So, and look it, see, update. There is a new one. So we can actually get the latest. So we might as well update that right now. All right, so the latest, I did forget that it's actually set to all white. I don't really like that, so usually I go to like settings and we can change the theme option from light mode to dark mode. I just kind of prefer that. But everything else, there's a lot that's pretty much the same. There's a few new features, but anyway, this is a whole nother topic to get into. So we are up to date now because there is no more N next to the update button. So I'm gonna go ahead and exit out of there. We're gonna go ahead and get rid of this folder. And now we're gonna do Crystal Disk Mark basically on the C drive. And we're gonna do this. We're just gonna see how our C drive performs. Let's check it out. These numbers over here should be fairly close, within a couple hundred megabytes, because this is a 990 Pro. If you had a 980 Pro, the numbers over here would be about somewhere around 5,500. All right, so look at those numbers, not too shabby. And that's gonna conclude that portion of it. So I have 3 more M.2s that are gonna go on this motherboard. But like in my last video, I said putting them all in can be confusing on which one to put the Windows on. So from here, there's a couple of different options. I do have a Windows 10 key that will activate a Windows 11 Pro. And I do have to do that. I will show you where it is. You can come down here to the search bar and just type in Windows and just start typing in activation. And we can see Windows activation. We can click on that. That's not what I wanted. That is so not what I wanted. We wanted settings. So Windows activation. And those are all searches. So right here, Windows it's activation settings. That's what we want. Move this over a little bit. Hopefully you can see it. And right here it says not active. But down here it says change product key. All you're going to do is click on that, and now you have your space to put your product key in. One of our next things we're going to do is install VLC player. It replaces like your QuickTime or Windows Media, and it's just nicer. It has a better encoder built into it, so it can actually read and play way more files than Windows Media can. And you can convert stuff and everything within VLC. So VLC. So your clock is behind. I don't really care. So we're set time zone automatically. That's fine. Okay, now it's still not matching. We have to set time automatically, set zone automatically. Sync now. Hey, there we go. Now we got the right time and date. All right, so that's all set. And now we can go back to here. VLC player, and VLCplayer.org is the one that we want. We can go right to here, or we could have just hit that download. But basically this is for Windows 64-bit download. You can open this up, and we're just gonna click download. And I do believe it downloaded. There it goes. Okay, so we can actually just click it here, and that way we can, it's a little shortcut instead of going through our file system. Language, English, next, next. Start. So we want to start menu shortcut, desktop shortcut, and there's a couple of plugins that I usually just go with the default. Everything is pretty much just default, whatever it is. And we're going to install it on the C drive. This is a pretty small file, so we're going to let that download. And we don't have to run it right now, but we're just going to finish the install, and we can see that it put it up in the left-hand corner. It's right here. This is what it looks like. It always looks like the orange and white cone. So that's going to stay. And there's a couple other little tips that I want to show you. So you have right down here, you have like this face, and it just looks kind of funky. So we're going to do a right click, open taskbar settings, and we have widgets. I'm going to turn the widgets off. We also have taskbar view. We want that. In the search box, we want search icon only. Or do we want search con and label? That's what we want. Okay, so if you have the search box, it has this big old thing. If you have that, it'll actually shorten it up for you a little bit. So that looks a lot better. All right, and one other thing that I like to do is right under here where it says like the hide icon menu, we can actually go ahead and turn that off, and then all of the rest of them, because this is icons which are turned off, can be accessed in this menu. So, but we're going to turn all of our icons on. So we got our Bluetooth, we got our Samsung Magician, we got our Gigabyte Control Center, we have our Microsoft OneDrive. I don't care about that, so I'm not even going to put it in there. We have the safe to remove hardware and eject media. I don't care about that either. And we have Windows security notification icons. So basically, instead of a pop-up, you get more icons down here, so I know what the icons are doing at any given time, or I can click on them without doing 2 clicks. Some people like that, some people don't. All right, so one of the last things that we do need to do is we actually need to go and download the Leon Lee L-Connect 3 software. So I just usually do Leon Lee L-Connect 3. And we're going to get this guy going here. So L-Connect. So we just go to install. And there's our download. This is, yep, L-Connect 3. Yeah, Google has detected issues with your download. It could have a virus in it. Well, I know it doesn't. All right, so we're going to launch this. And we're going to put it, yep, in our C drive. And we can finish it and launch it. So here is all of our stuff here. I have to go through this and configure all these LEDs. Speaking of which, I do have to fix one of the front 3 fans are not working, so I don't know if it's an issue or not. I also don't know if I can rotate this pump in the software or if I have to physically rotate it. Either way, no big deal. But I do see that it is not seeing the pump itself. So I have to figure out what's going on there. And yeah, we have SL fans, which is perfectly fine. But I'm not seeing that. So I have to figure that one out. It's not a huge deal. Okay, so the reason why we don't see a pump over there to control is because I downloaded the wrong software. In the same software download area on their site, you just had to scroll a little further. It said GA2 LCD software. Now let's open up the software and just see the difference. So it's a little bit newer version update is available. So let's just update it now. And you can actually see right over here it has the GA2 LCD. So as soon as this is done updating, then we'll check that to see if we can rotate the pump. So let's go ahead and download that. It is for the GA2 LCD for the update. Download complete. I don't know if we have to restart or not. I haven't seen it do anything. Let's click on this and background text, images. We can actually change. So I'm gonna have to probably physically rotate this because, oh, wait a minute. What is this? Full screen. It almost looks like you can turn it, but maybe not. All right, theme 2, Whirlpool. Does that, okay, so that changed it. Oh, that's pretty cool. It's almost like you're going through colored stars. So that looks actually pretty cool on there. I don't know if you can see that well. You can put the time on there if you want to put a time. That'll just display a clock. Looks like it's in a 24-hour format. Again, it is the wrong direction. Oh, we can change it. Ha! Oh, I just had it the right way and I just clicked it again. All right, so it's upside down. And there we go. But yeah, there's no color from the other one, and I don't know why. I don't know if it's not recognizing it or what, but that'll be my next step to try and figure out what's going on there, because I believe it's plugged into, let me see which port it's plugged into. So not this one. No, it is this one. Okay, so it's actually reading one of them, but you're supposed to be able to, so we port 3. So port 3, which is right here, I don't know why it's not showing any of the colors. It's very bizarre to me. Oh, set the quantity of fans. So port 2, did that work? That was 3rd. I don't see anything here. All right, so far, nothing. Just not seeing. Oh, wait a minute. I didn't click apply. There's a apply button down here. See, this is covering. Hang on. Bingo! Found it. So now we have our RGB up front. So this is awesome. Now, once you get all your Windows and updates installed and you are happy with the system's performance, you can go ahead and add in your other drives at this time. You could also do it a little bit before that if you wanted to, but we're going to go ahead and take this back off. And now you can see that we have 3 other positions that we can add an M.2 drive, and all of these are NVMe capable. This one, however, is NVMe or SATA. Now, the rest of these are going to operate off of the chipset. This is the only one between this one and if you installed one up here, those are going to run off of the CPU lanes, but the rest are going to run off of the chipset lanes. So what we're going to do is, this has got my Windows on it. The next one down is going to be what I like to call my A drive. So I got a C drive, an A drive, and then down here we're going to occupy it with 2 other drives, which are going to be backups. So I'm going to have a 4 terabyte here and another 4 terabyte here. So this one is going to get backed up to this drive, and then this drive is going to get backed up to this drive, or vice versa, but they're both going to be backups. But what we want to do is install them one by one so you do not get confused, and we will initialize them. But in this case, since I'm installing another 2 terabyte and a 4 terabyte, I should not get confused on what is what. So instead of rebooting the computer 3 more times, we only have to do it 2 more times. So what we're going to do is install one here. And there we go. I'm just going to move this little clip over just like that. And then place it over it. That one's installed. Now we got our 4 terabyte. And we can install this guy right here. Just like so. Again, with that clip, just move it over. And now that one's installed. Now, so I don't get confused between this one and this one, we're going to boot up the system and initialize both of these drives and label them. That way I know what is what. Okay, so we're back at our desktop, and right down here on Windows 10 or 11, it doesn't matter, Windows 10 is in the left-hand corner, Windows 11 here, we're going to do a right-click on the Start menu, we're going to come up here to Disk Management. This should auto-populate with a box, which it did. We had installed 2 disks, which we can see right here. They are both checked. And from here, what we want to do is we can see it's on GPT, so we want to leave that alone, and we're just going to click OK. And then we're going to scroll down here. You can see our C drive is right here, and I will expand this window just a little bit so we can see them both at the same time. And so we have an unallocated disk 1 and we have an unallocated disk 2. Now we can tell from the size. See, this one says 3726 and this one says 1863. So you can kind of guess which one's larger. The larger one's going to be the 4 terabyte. So we'll start with this one down here, disk 2. Now, probably if you wanted to have this disk 1, you would install the other one first and then this one second, so the 4 terabyte would have been disk 2. But that's okay. We're going to do a new simple volume. It really doesn't matter. It's just that's just the order for your sake and your peace of mind if you wanted it. But new simple volume. We're going to click next. We want the entire storage sample volume size. And this defaulted to letter D. I want letter A. That's just what I'm used to, and that's what I like. So now this one, we can rename it. And so let's name this one doc underscore video. It's just going to be a little different than what I had it before. You can always rename this if you want. We want to perform a quick format, and click next. Click next again. And now you can see down here, well, it just opened up the window for that drive, right? So now in this PC, we'll see 2 drives. We got A drive and a C drive. And then we're going to do the same thing for this, new simple volume. Click next. We want to sample the entire volume size. And this says letter E, but this is going to be our backup for the C drive. So I backed mine up from C to D and from A to B. So this one is going to be our D drive. Oh, it's not. Why is it not giving me the letter D? That's interesting. Okay, so let's cancel this. I don't know why it is not giving us the D drive, because clearly we only have A and C there. Let's get out of this and come back in it. Let's go to disk management. Now those boxes don't pop up anymore because the disk is now, or the SSD is now initialized. But we're going to come back down to this, new simple volume. And next, there's our D. I don't know why we couldn't get that before, but we got it now. Unless I missed it, but I don't think I did. All right, so we're going to just go next. All this is just standard. And since this is D drive, we're going to go and label this backup underscore C. So that's just a backup from my C, and perform a quick format. Next, finished. And now the window should pop up for us again. And there we go. Now we can click on this. We can see we have 3 drives. So now the C drive has a backup right here. And my A drive is the next one we're going after. So we're going to shut the computer down and hook up the next drive. Okay, so our final drive is going in here. And push it in like that. Spin this sideways. And just make sure that it is in the 90-degree position. You can see it right there. Just make sure that's in the 90-degree and not something like that. That means it could be sitting, if I could sort of demonstrate what it could look like, right there. That means it's not sitting properly, and as you're going to put the cover back on, you may have an issue, possibly. So you just want to make sure that that's at that 90 position. We can go ahead and put our cover back on here, and we can notice that all of our peely peels are off on these from a previous time. And we slip it right in there. Again, this outside one is pretty nice. We don't have to actually turn that clip right there. It's actually just a press, and that is installed. All right, so, well, I'm not too sure. It seems almost like this drive was out before, and I think it was because oh, that's right. I did do a test on this drive. So it was already initialized. So just go through the same steps as I showed you before on the other previous drives. But this one we do have to rename and relabel. So I do not want it the E drive. It's going to be B. So we're going to do a right click. And let's see. We want to do properties. And then we can rename it right here to backup underscore B. Or excuse me, backup underscore A. So we are going to apply that. Yes, we want to continue. All right, right there. It should have, I don't know why it didn't relabel. So let's just go to a different section, come back. Okay, so now, oh, it didn't relabel the drive. So we need to, I'm sorry, we relabeled the drive. Now we need to change the actual letter of it. In order to change the actual drive letter, what we need to do is come down here, just like we did before, come up here to disk management. We need to find our drive that we want to change, which is the backup A. It's the E drive right now that's labeled. Let's do a right click on here. Let's go to change drive letter and path. So we want to change this from E to B and just click OK. Some programs that rely on drive letters might not run correctly. That's fine when we're doing this brand new. And there we go. So if we come back to here, we can see that it changed right here. So we have A for docs and videos, then we have our backup for A, then we have our C and our backup for C. All right, we got our graphics card to put in here. I just got a 3070 Ti, and this is from EVGA. And this came out of my 11th generation build, and we're just going to put this in for right now until I get comfortable with any of the newer graphics cards. So just like that. And I heard that click, so it is installed. Now we're just going to take our screw here and put these in. I want to hold the graphics card up just like that. And I could put a little graphics card support here if we need to. Other than that, we're just going to connect these guys. All right, we're going to boot it up here for the first time with the graphics card in it, and hopefully there won't be an issue. and then we can load our drivers for that graphics card. This could take just a little bit longer than a normal boot. But you can see we have picture, so everything appears to be working just as it should. Now what we want to do is go to NVIDIA. I'm going to try to shrink this window here if I can. There we go. Let's see. NVIDIA drivers. Or drivers download. I don't know. It should all get you to the same spot. So basically right here is what we want. Let's get this out of here. This is how I update all my NVIDIA drivers. So we have the GeForce GTX, and we do not have a 40 series. We have a 30 series, not a notebook, but a 30 series. Now that says Ti. We want to go drop down here to a 3070 Ti. This is going to be for Windows 11. And we can do the game ready driver, just studio driver. I just want the studio driver. English, we can go to search. And you can see this is the latest driver that they have. It was released on 11/1, so November 1st of 2023 is when it was released. We can go ahead and download that. And being that that should be downloaded already, we can go ahead and open up our File Explorer, go into our downloads. Oh, it's not there yet. Oh, that's right. I have to download it. Oh, man. That's funny. Okay, now it's ready to open. So normally I just close that window because we're done with the site. Open up File Explorer. Let's go to our downloads. There it is right there. We're going to double click on that. The screen will go blank for a minute while it installs the driver. And right here, again, we only want the graphics card driver. I don't care about the GeForce Experience. And we're going to do the Express installation. There you go. You can see it going blank. Now we're back, and you can see all of our icons are now adjusted properly to the screen, to fit the screen. So it was kind of a rough road with the Lian Li L-Connect 3 software. I can't remember because it's like a week later that I'm still playing with this. So I kind of wanted to put this in there in case I forgot. So the Lian Li software, I actually downloaded the incorrect version. We installed the correct version. It looked like I was having some problems getting it all to function properly. It was glitchy. I figured all that out. It was just me. It was just the software. The software's fine. It works perfectly fine. It updates perfectly fine. And you can see actually my computer just went to sleep here. But everything is fine. I got it all set to like this purplish color. It kind of looks a lot better in person than it does on camera. But again, we got our graphics card installed now, and also the other 3 drives, as you clearly saw. Everything is running as it should right now. The only exception right now is our temperatures, because this 14900K runs extremely hot at an idle and doing basic tasks, which we were just doing through this whole video. It'll do that without overheating, without a problem. That's going to wrap it up for me. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was kind of long, but it shows you all the steps on which you need to take to, I guess, update your computer and what to do after you basically build it, right? After you build it and after you get Windows installed, what do you do? So take that with a grain of salt, and hopefully you learned something. And until next time, guys, take care.